Hey guys, it is Reed. I am 27. Just an average dude. I've made tons of money mistakes in my 20s, and now I want to share everything I've learned to help you take control of your finances and your life. Alright, so I was driving the other day and I saw this Lamborghini Huracan pull up next to me, and honestly my first thought was cool car, but my second thought was, man, social media would have you believe that every 26-year-old driving one of these got there through some secret hack, some crypto play, some drop shipping blueprint they bought for 47 bucks, and maybe some of them did, but most of them didn't. And the ones who did are probably not going to be driving that car in 5 years anyway. I wanted to make this video because I think people overcomplicate getting rich. I really do. I think especially now, like the last 5 to 10 years since I got out of high school, there are so many ways to make money. It is kind of insane, but the problem is everyone's looking for the secret when the real answer is boring. So let me break this down the way I wish someone had broken it down for me when I was 20 years old and had no idea what I was doing. First thing you got to understand is ownership. You need to own something. I don't care if that is stocks, real estate, a business, a small chunk of an index fund, whatever it is you need to have. Something that works for you while you sleep. That is not a cliche, that is just math. When I was 22, I had nothing. I mean, literally nothing. I had a negative net worth. I owed money on credit cards I couldn't pay off. I was leasing a car I couldn't afford. I was living paycheck to paycheck, and I thought that was just how life was. I thought being broke in your 20s was normal, and it is normal, but it is not inevitable. The shift happened when I realized that my labor was the only thing generating income. If I stopped working, I stopped earning. That is a dangerous place to be. So I started buying into the SP 500, just a little bit at first, like 50 bucks a week, then 100, then more as I earned more. And over time, that snowball started rolling. The SP 500 returned over 23% in 2024 and another 17% in 2025. I didn't do anything special. I just bought and held and let time do the heavy lifting. That is it. That is the whole trick. You don't need to be a genius. You need to be patient and consistent, and you need to own something. A lot of people in their 20s have a net worth under 30 grand. The median for our age group is like 25 to 30,000 bucks. That is not a lot when you think about how much life costs these days. So if you are reading this and you've got less than that, don't feel bad. Most of us do, but also don't use that as an excuse to do nothing. Start somewhere, even if it is small. Even if it is embarrassing, even if it is just 20 bucks a week into a boring index fund, that is still more than zero. And zero is the only number that never grows. Second thing, and I learned this one the hard way, ruthless focus on one big income source instead of 18 side hustles that make you $5 a day. I see so many people in their 20s trying to do everything at once. They redrop shipping on Shopify, running an Amazon FBA business, doing Uber Eats on the weekends, selling digital products, flipping thrift store finds, and they remaking like 800 bucks a month total and burning out. That is not a strategy. That is chaos disguised as productivity. I know because I did it. I had my hands in so many different things that nothing ever took off. I was busy all the time, but I wasn't building anything real. The turning point for me was when I stopped trying to be everywhere and started focusing on one thing. For me, it was building a service-based business, a lead generation agency. That is where I made most of my money the last couple years. And yeah, it took time, it took rejection. It took a lot of late nights where I questioned everything. But once I locked in on that one thing, everything changed. The money got better, the stress went down. I actually started seeing results. You need to find your one thing and go all in. I don't care if it is sales, even within a regular job, that is fine. But business is where you are going to make the biggest strides. You are going to make the biggest money. And if you are working a 9 to 5 right now, that doesn't mean you are stuck. It means you have a base, you have stability, use that, use the safety net of a steady paycheck to take calculated risks on the side. But don't spread yourself so thin that nothing works. Third thing, and this one scares people. You have to take a lot of calculated risks, especially while you are young. I made the mistake of not taking enough risks early on. I dilly-dallied, I thought I had time, I thought I could start next month, next year after I figured things out, and all that did was delay my progress. The truth is, when you are in your 20s, you have so much room to fail. You can mess up bad and still recover. You can lose money, start a business that flops, make a fool of yourself, and none of it matters in the long run because you have time on your side. That is your biggest asset, not your degree, not your resume, not your savings account time. And the earlier you start taking swings, the more at bats you get. Volume negates luck. I truly believe that. The more you try, the more you put yourself out there, the more opportunities you create, the more likely you are to hit something big. I've had so many failed businesses, so many ideas that went nowhere, so many times I wanted to quit and just get a normal job and give up on the whole thing, but I kept going and eventually one of them worked, and that one thing changed everything. So stop waiting for the perfect moment. Stop waiting until you feel ready. You are never going to feel ready. Just start messy, start ugly, start scared, but start. Fourth thing, timing matters more than the idea itself. And this is something nobody talks about because it is less sexy than having a brilliant concept. You can have the best business idea in the world, but if the timing is off, it is dead in the water. Conversely, you can have a mediocre idea at the perfect time and clean up. Look at all the people who got into content creation during the pandemic. Look at the people who started e-commerce stores when social commerce was just heating up. Look at the people who got into agency work before everyone and their mom started one. It wasn't that they were smarter than everyone everyone else. They just had good timing and they acted on it. So pay attention to what is happening around you, what is trending, what is new, what feels like it is about to explode, and get in early, not when everyone's already talking about it early. That is where the real money is made. And if you miss one wave, don't to worry. Another one is coming. There is always another wave. Fifth thing, and this is the one that hits closest to home for me, control your costs and negotiate everything. I read this book called Titan about John D. Rockefeller, and the way that guy watched every single dollar was insane. If he didn't need it, he cut it. Immediately, no sentimentality. No, maybe I'll use this later. Just gone. And you gotta do the same with your life. The fastest way to get ahead financially is not to earn more. It is to spend less. I know that sounds obvious, but watch how many people ignore it. They get a raise and immediately upgrade their lifestyle, new car, bigger apartment, more nights out, more subscriptions they don't use, and suddenly they remaking more money but still broke. That is called lifestyle creep, and it is a wealth killer. I was guilty of this too. When I first started making real money, I wanted to buy nice things, I wanted to show off, I wanted people to see that I was doing well, but then I realized that the only person I was fooling was myself, so I pulled back, I cut all my stupid subscriptions, I stopped eating out as much, I started cooking at home, I started negotiating everything, my rent, my internet bill, my insurance. You'd be surprised how much you can save just by asking. And those savings add up, they go into your investments, they compound, and 10 years from now, that $50 you saved on your phone bill is worth way more than $50. So be ruthless with your spending, not cheap. Ruthless. There is a difference. And the last thing I want to say is you got to learn to delegate, especially if you are building a business. You can do everything yourself. I tried for years. I was the CEO, the janitor, the accountant, the customer service rep, the marketing department, and I was exhausted. I was growing because I was too busy doing everything. When I finally started hiring people to handle the stuff I wasn't good at or the stuff that was eating up my time, everything changed. I bought my time back, and that time allowed me to focus on the things that actually move the needle. If you are worth $1,000 an hour, you should not be doing $10 an hour tasks, period. So start small. Hire a virtual assistant to handle your emails, outsource your bookkeeping, get someone to edit your content, whatever it is that is draining your energy, find a way to get it off your plate. It is an investment, and it is one of the best investments you can make. All right, that is it. That is the whole thing. No secret formula, no hidden blueprint, just 6 principles that actually work if you stick with them. Own something, focus on one thing, take risks, watch your timing. Control your spending, learn to delegate. That is it. That is the whole game. And I know it sounds simple, but simple doesn't mean easy. You still have to do the work. You still have to show up every day and make the right choices even when nobody's watching. But I promise you, if you do that consistently over time, you will be in a completely different place 5 years from now. I am not rich. I don't pretend to be. I drive an old BMW. I live a normal life, but I am in a better place than I was at 22. Way better. And that is all that matters. Progress, not perfection. So stop overcomplicating it. Stop waiting for the perfect moment. Stop comparing yourself to some 26-year-old in a Lamborghini. Just start. Start today, start with whatever you have, and keep going. That is all any of us can do. Peace.